So you've been talking with, you're obviously with HR and you've not in the direct line, but you are across all the lines. What is
Mhm.
HR's role in actually supporting the sales effort? Can you be quite explicit about the things HR can do to support that sales effort and maybe even talk about where they're not doing
Mhm.
as well, in your experience or exposure to your industry or your profession, we'll say?
Yeah, look, I would say the biggest shift that needs to be implemented and in any organisation is the way people think. So really tackling things like mindset and the power of unlearning, which is probably the biggest challenge we all have as we adapt to a much more digital economy, is that we have to be comfortable with letting go of the things that have served us well in the past. That's the hardest thing. As soon as we embrace that and we start to look at being creative and open-minded and not running away from the challenge, really leaning into it, is when we're going to have the level of conversation and the decisions that are going to empower the business. And once the business is empowered and everyone understands the rules of engagement, I think organisations can adapt and change extremely rapidly. But it has to be done holistically. It has to be done right across the organisation. Otherwise, there's all sorts of risks of breakdowns and people not adopting and adapting to the change. So I think OD is more relevant these days than it's ever been because the gift and the talent of OD and the HR professionals, whether they're HRBPs, HR directors, OD or learning specialists, if they're commercially savvy and they understand um, the real levers and things that are going on in the business, they can add a huge amount to landing that strategy. And I think the business needs to really appreciate HR more than just a transactional, you know, service or someone who fills in the paperwork or recruits somebody. Because HR is going through its own transformation as well, from non-digital to highly digitised ways of working. The sweet spot for HR is all in the relationship space. It's all about understanding the commercials and really understanding the motivations, the fears, the anxieties of an organisation that's going through rapid change. And for learned HR practitioners, that's the future of HR.
Yeah, well, I do agree. I think that the skill sets for HR is that ability to act as good stewards and guides to help people navigate their way through those really, interesting changes that they have to transform.